that.
Press start, as long as I hit the space button, that's it, right?
And since,
No, that's not it, I gotta get this.
okay, and since, Kaylee is not here and she is our secretary, I'm going to try to take notes. So, we'll go slowly, and then I'll also have, you know, the reference for that.
For the minutes.
So, all right, so it is 4 o'clock on February 21st, 2025, and I'm going to call this special called Library Board Meeting to order, and we're going to start off with roll call, please.
Jim Holcomb.
Jackie Wilbur.
Erica Grammer.
Shannon Burgdorf.
Pam Keller.
Mike Ryan.
And Joanna Daniel. And we are missing today Haley Wilson, who said that she gave notice that she was not going to be able to be here. And Paul McCoy also gave notice that she was not going to be here as well. All right. Now we're going to go to the invocation. Pam?
Sure.
Would you like to do the invocation?
Absolutely. Father God, I thank you so much for this day. I thank you for the breath of life. I thank you for each individual that is that the directors, I know, have put a lot of time and effort into creating the budget, and I pray, Father, as we move through the steps necessary to get this budget approved, that it's done so without mistakes and complications. I pray, Lord, that our efforts here will represent our hearts, and all glory be given to you. And I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right. We'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And any abstentions? Move on to recognition of public. There's no one here to speak. However, we do have Alicia Neighbors from Hendersonville. We have Amy Corbett from Millersville and Anita Lambert from Portland. All right. It's all A's today.
The A team.
Yes. I like it. Okay, so now we're moving on to new business, which is library budget. I will entertain a motion to open discussion for library budget.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Because of it being budget, I entertain a motion to suspend the Robert's rules so that we can really ask questions of the directors.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right. I'd like for Cam to take the lead on this and let us know which you want to begin with.
I'd say Portland.
Okay. Okay.
Go.
All right.
There are no
I can grab my.
questions.
The
The
easy one.
Portland budget has been submitted and reviewed. There were no clarifications requested in our first meeting, and there are no capital improvements that are being requested, at least for the next couple of years. So I say we look it over if you guys have any questions. However, it's Nothing has been identified as a red flag or out of place. Her budget is spot on.
Straightforward.
I think that's the easiest one that we have today.
Regarding natural gas, just kidding.
I had a quick question. So electricity, it looks like you're actually asking less this year. And I know it says based on 2024-2025 budget usage. You know, I know electricity goes up, and I know that that's a sore spot for just about every director.
Yeah.
You feel
We've
confident?
always been great in that category. I mean, I've gone through and done the numbers and everything, even with any kind of, 15% increase, I'll be good. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of had to find some money to take care of Lauren's health insurance. So I did pull some money from some of those that I knew would be over and put that into the health insurance that financed the COVID up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned last time, Anita, you had less than 5 transfers from the
Yes, correct.
Okay, so.
And you're okay with coming down on the books as well, correct? Okay.
How much funding do you typically get from the Friends? Is it like more than $5,000 a year? Or?
They actually support and sponsor every single program that we do. Yeah.
Good for you.
So our summer reading, our bingo, our children's program, any supplies that we need for any of those, they take care of that.
Do you have a rough idea of what that dollar number is? I would be interested to know that just as a benchmark for encouraging other friends to be like Portland. I want to be like Portland. Okay. Whatever.
Sorry, that's Portland. I want to make sure, just looking over these all this. Okay.
Anybody else have anything else from Portland?
Just curious, where is it where you cut it for the printing of the library cards? Which line is that?
That is what I'm sorry.
Which line is for the printing of the library cards?
Stationary, printing and stationary.
It's midway through, pretty much dead center,
Yeah.
Joanna. She's got 1,040.
534.
She dropped it to $1,000 this year.
Okay. Well, wait, it actually increased, right? Yeah, it increased to 1,000. And is that, because of more library cards being, and all that as well?
Prices have just gone up some.
Just prices?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I usually print about 1,000,
Okay.
at a time.
Yeah.
1,000 cards a time. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. All right. And, I'm going to Portland. All right.
Now I'm just curious, how long does 1,000 cards last you?
About 6 months. So I print them twice a year. Okay. Yeah.
So, motion to approve Portland's budget as
I'll make that motion, or second yours, however you want to do it. I'll make the motion, so.
second.
By Jackie, second by Erica. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Great. All right.
How about Westmoreland next?
All right. Go ahead.
On the Westmoreland budget, there will need to be, I've attached an email that we received today from Robert about the computers in the Westmoreland Library. They are going to have to be upgraded, the 5 office computers, and that is not on the budget, so we will have to add that to the budget. However, Jackie raised a really good question about the tech grant, and
Would some of that be covered in the tech grant, or could it be covered in the tech grant? Because this budget goes to, what, July 31st? And all. We start working on tech grants anywhere from May to that point. So, can you look at both at the same time?
I don't see why not.
You know,
I mean,
if it's, Amy has something to,
We don't typically get the tech grant, like the actual money until November, December, and the Windows 11 rollout is in October. So
I knew there was some
there's
software or
going to
something.
be a couple of months delay, which is
Okay.
why none of,
if we don't put it in the budget.
so, well, it could probably be included in the capital funds, like I requested for mine. And then that doesn't go to the MOE, it's a one-time fund, so it's not a continual.
A capital outlay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
There's,
So we can just, it doesn't have to affect the budget, we can just
Okay.
request that in the capital outlay.
well, but my question here though is that, I understand that maybe a month or 2 month delay, but is there any way that, well, I know they don't want transfers. You know what I'm saying, like, is there any way to cover that money until the money comes in from the tech grant?
you could make it an assigned fund, but the email here says the computer is highlighting that will have to be replaced before October 2025. So she's either gonna have to transfer it or just ask for it in capital now, so that they can get the computers before.
Before the
We didn't
upgrade.
process your tech grant through budget until November this year. And that means it has to go through budget and then the meeting. So if our meeting's not until, sometimes it's the last Monday in November.
So then,
She can just ask for it in capital with that note that, because it's from Robert, they have to be replaced.
correct, and then does the tech grant replace that money in capital? Or are we asking for additional money, because we know there's money coming from the tech grant, so I'm just trying not to ask for the money twice.
But how much has the tech grant been? I think some of the libraries' tech grants were only like $800. Weren't they?
So it should be in here, what line is the tech grant normally? I know that Allison had put it in.
I was gonna say, yes, it says tech
Oh, there's
grant
some in tech grant,
200.
so $200?
Right.
Oh, okay.
So she's gonna have to ask for capital.
Okay, and how much, I didn't see, because it.
$29.95, yeah, about $3,000.
$29.95?
For 5 computers, just for
Where's the decimal point?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Not in a good spot.
So that is not on here, so, I mean, we can still, like, approve her budget, and then we would just write the letter to ask for the capital improvement in a memo.
Is that state contract quote that he sent back, is that the state bid?
I mean, he's even given us the link to get them ordered.
Okay.
Yeah.
but, and I know that you asked Phyllis for a numerous amount of things, was she able to get back to you on those?
She did send them in an email. She sent, I don't know that I forwarded that email to you guys. I'm sorry for that. I can send that. I actually didn't even think about it. She did send it to me, the security contract, the Canon copier contract. She said that they would have to reach out to get an inspection on the roof, and they will check on whether or not insurance would cover that, if it needs to be replaced at all. If you guys can see that it says that to re-roof the entire building is $30,000, And I asked about how old the roof is, and the roof's only like 11 years old. So they're just looking to get an inspection, or I suggested an inspection and see if there's any damage to it.
Well, there's a note on here that says roofing on old end of the building is showing wear. So I don't know if that, is that
That's, yeah, they added
damage or
that.
is it just wear?
They just added that so that we can get some kind of an inspection out there to see if we actually need to keep carrying that, or if that can be like a 4 or 5 years out. We're not gonna request it in 2026.
Leaking
No,
now?
ma'am, that's,
Oh, okay, I
no.
was laughing because I was like, we've got leaking roofs all over the county.
yeah, and that's why I said for this year,
Was part of that brought up as a result of the car running into the
it's
building?
been on there for a couple
Okay.
years, Lauren said. And that, I just asked, has anybody verified that it needs to replace? She said, no, it just keeps staying on there. So I suggested that we do an inspection.
Amy, does, with maintenance come out and inspect your roof?
They can, or not.
Yeah, so that's something maintenance can do.
Yeah, Phyllis was gonna request that.
Yeah, yeah, we wouldn't have to bid an inspection out or anything.
Correct, yeah. She said, but it just came up, and so that's not something that we are gonna, ask for as a capital outlay on this particular year, because it's not leaking, and we don't even think it really needs to be replaced. The windows, I did clarify with Lauren and Phyllis that that money has been allocated from the carpet.
Okay,
So,
so this is money that they already have, the 15,000.
and we just need to, request it for the windows. That's where the money would go, is for the window replacement.
Okay, so just to confirm, because I remember us voting on that, so this isn't a new request, this is money that has already been approved.
Correct.
Correct,
Mhm.
okay. So it would actually not go on this, because this is, so glad I got this clarified, you got this clarified. Anything that's on here is a request. So we would take that windows off of there, the 15,000 off of there, because we're not requesting that
Correct.
yet.
It's already been allocated.
And then, no, we wouldn't even have to have on, because it's already been reallocated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the
we
windows.
voted on that.
Mhm.
And then the 30,000, what year would you guys like to put that to? Since we know that it's not gonna go in 2026, because that's this coming year.
I mean, we can move it to 27, because, I mean, if the inspection shows that it needs to be replaced, then it can show up in next year's budget.
And did we have them check the insurance and see?
That's part of what she's working on.
She's working on, okay, okay,
Yeah.
we don't know
Right.
where they stand on that. Okay.
Right. I spoke to her on Tuesday, and of course, the schools and the library, everything was closed on Wednesday.
Sure.
So you should hear about.
She was so amazing. She called me on Wednesday, and we worked for almost an hour on this.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so great, and I so appreciate you putting in the extra hours with her, and her taking the time coming in, and she's like, my feet are freezing, she's like, but I wanted to make sure this got done, because,
She knew we had this meeting today.
yes, and when she sent us the worksheets originally, they were incorrect,
Correct.
because, and even with Lauren helping her, they were incorrect, so we had to take the extra hours to actually,
Mm-hmm.
with Phyllis to walk her through everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so then,
I do have one thing I need clarification on, because I know on Anita's budget, she put the AED in the budget, and it wasn't asked for, on the worksheet for capital outlay. Hers was under, health equipment, I think. So do we need to move Westmoreland's AED defibrillator to the budget?
where's it at?
It's on the worksheet, the, capital outlay worksheet. She's asking for it there,
Okay. I didn't even see that part.
so what's your thoughts on that?
So they're wanting to do a,
The AED, do we need to move it to the budget under the health equipment, or leave it?
I don't know, I'm writing a note on here right now, why aren't we absorbing cost of all AEDs from general? Because I have voted 100 times to put AEDs in buildings all over this county. So have y'all built that?
I haven't gotten one yet, no. I'll think
Did we
about it.
request
That's something we can put through Health and Emergency Services, I would think. I don't know why she would have to pay for it, because I don't know if it's a requirement that all the buildings have it. or if it's a want, or if it's a requirement. Do you have one at yours?
I don't believe it's a requirement. I don't know of anybody.
But it's not a bad idea to
Uh-huh.
have one in the Westmoreland branch, because they're
Sure.
so far removed from everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That she would also have to have training with that. I just don't, I don't know.
I was gonna reach out to the health, the emergency department to see if they could help me get one, just with a contact or, just.
Yeah, because we run grants through all the time for those. And as a matter of fact, because we were gonna use the grant fund to pay for the new AEDs. I don't even remember which fund it was from, for the sheriff's department. So, I mean, I don't think it's a,
So we shouldn't put it on a budget line item, we should just request it in a memo?
my guess, if it becomes a requirement that she needed it, she could come back and ask budget for it.
Okay.
Why don't we just,
Because we don't
maybe
really,
in March, maybe at the meeting, because we can maybe go to the commissioner or figure out how we can get AEDs in all the libraries and figure that out instead of putting it as a budget item. You know what I mean? Because if you said we ask grants for that all the time, you know what I'm saying? So we could ask health services for it, is that what you're saying?
I can take care of that, yes, yes. I mean, yeah.
So does that mean
I
we
don't
should take it out of Portland's? Because Portland has it as a budget line item.
I get what you're saying, I'm just trying to, so I also, if it
I'm gonna
doesn't,
leave it on my budget right now,
Yeah.
that's okay with everybody, and then like.
if it happens,
Yeah.
you
I can
guys.
always do something with the money, believe me.
Yeah.
So then, why don't we just put it on her budget, on Westmoreland's budget, as and add it to her budget, and then if they say no, they say no, and if the budget says yes, then great, you know what I mean, instead of it doing a capital. I mean, and if Shannon can do something, then great, you know what I mean, then, but at least it's officially on the budget. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the meantime, do you have a book on CPR, like in case things?
You would have to be trained.
I was going to say, we've all been trained, but that was about 3 years ago, so I think we're out of date with our training right now.
Out of practice.
So, yeah.
Did EMS do your training for you?
We actually got, Red Cross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know
Okay.
finance has been trained on their AED, so I just didn't know.
All right, so then, where on the line item,
She may have to ask to have that line added.
Yes, I remember that.
Added.
Mhm. Yeah, I wrote,
You can look at mine and see what the number is.
yeah, I wrote health line item added for AED.
okay,
So we can approve it with, that exception, and I can make sure that that gets added. I'll talk to Beth on Monday.
But if it's in her line item, it becomes part of her MOE. So you want to put it in capital. Throw that in capital. Because if they don't require her to have one, but she wants one, then she can request to have one.
but then, Anita has hers in her budget.
But I got mine from additional, I didn't never ask for additional money. Mine just was already worked in my budget.
Oh,
I didn't
gotcha,
never
that
ask
makes
for
sense.
additional money.
And this would be additional money for
Right.
Westmoreland because their budget,
And
okay.
it may end up that it's a requirement that we don't know that it's what.
Okay.
It
And
is possible, or if
And it
it's.
may be coming down the road. I
Yeah.
mean, you see that
Yeah.
as something that's coming
So,
down the
put it
road.
in capital.
Yeah, okay.
I
Got it.
don't think budget's gonna say smack her hand asking for an AED for that.
Okay. So we'll leave that in
My
capital.
bad, you were just making sure that it's in there.
Well, and her line item is requesting 1,600 and Anita's was 3,000, but yours includes some other
Bigger
stuff.
one. Yeah, that's very
Okay,
bad. Have to have
Okay.
for the-
okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean about that one?
Well, just more commercial one and everything.
Oh, okay.
It's doing shocking things, but.
So on Westmoreland, the carpet replacement on this worksheet will come off. The roofing, we're gonna move to at least 27. And then the window replacement is gonna come off because that has already been allocated from the carpet replacement.
Yeah.
And the wall paint has already been done.
Okay.
And she's asking for it again in 10 years or whatever, but, okay.
Okay. I would just say that, so, and just to confirm, just so that I know, the money is already sitting there for the window replacements, right?
Correct.
Okay, great.
Lauren responded that the money has been allocated.
Okay, wonderful.
Anybody, any other questions on Westmoreland?
Is Zelda McCollum?
Lauren and Phyllis and I.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lauren and Phyllis and I met, and then when we reviewed the budget last week, we had some other questions, and then Joanna and Phyllis and I met again this week to get some of that clarification on the security system, the copiers, and insurance in the roof and stuff like that.
Well, good point. This is a huge undertaking for, someone in the first year.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phyllis, if you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Good job, thank you.
And it's a good thing that it helped because when they first sent it to us, it was incorrect.
Okay.
And so we had to go through and spend more time dealing with it because they did need some guidance.
Sure. All right, so I move to approve Westmoreland's budget.
Oh, wait, did you add the computers onto the capital?
I did.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. All right.
Second.
Okay, so Westmoreland. And Cam. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, great. All right. Let's go, you want to do Hendersonville next, Cam?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, let's do Hendersonville.
So I'm going to turn that over to you and Alicia.
Okay.
I took care of Westmoreland, and I met with Alicia initially, and then you guys met a second time to make some of the corrections and things like that, so.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Alicia, absolutely wonderful. I just want to commend Alicia for working with a friend so much.
Yeah.
Seriously. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. She and friends, your friend group is, I've seen all this stuff friends are taking, friends are doing. I'm just like, wow. So I just want to, I know Fred and I just forgot his name. Came here last time. What's the Arch? Thank you. Came here at our meeting in January, and she was great. And just want to say thank you so much for working with them and then stepping up and helping a lot. Okay, so there is. So we're looking at an increase, is that correct, of about $60,000? Is that correct? Okay, and is that mainly through salaries and all that?
Through salary and through the diagnostics.
Oh, that's right, with the
Shortage.
and all that. Because, so last year, and just love Beth and finance and Justin when he was there. So what had happened, last year was the first year that Lucy had actually done her budget, because the first year it was Diane and Alan and all that. So what had happened was under data processing, she had asked for an additional $12,000, she thought she was. And they put it at 12,000, when we actually needed 24,000.
That,
And
that line, the column right there, she
yellow.
thought she was asking for 12,000 additional, when really finance showed it as only
That's the
12,000.
total, right?
Yeah.
So that was where the mistake was.
Yes, and so we had to meet with finance and find that other $12,000, and it was great. Finance is wonderful. And so, so that comes with, bringing it up to what she actually needed for last year. And then you've got, the other salaries, and then, the great thing is that you see a lot of decrease due to friends, decrease due to friends, decrease due to friends, and library support. So, one thing that she did ask for a little bit more, was in the book, because, according to our policy, the library director is supposed to weed about 5% of the collection every single year. And unfortunately, that hadn't been happening for the most part before she came on.
I know,
And
I saw all
so-
those books upstairs.
And so, so there's going to be a lot of replacing of books. So, and so there is that. And then, I didn't discuss this with her, and because I wanted to surprise her with this. My science, right? This is my opinion only, and Hendersonville has the largest collection, it's the largest library, everything, and yet her pay else. And in my opinion, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, is that accurate? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
paper, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and not to say that everyone else isn't as important, but you have bigger things to do, you have much more responsibility. In my opinion, I believe that means that there should be more of a income coming in as well, more compensation. And so I'm sure she's probably uncomfortable right now because I did not see anything. And I just felt that there should be a little bit more compensation for her for this position. And I didn't think of a number. I just thought I'd come to you guys, even if it's, to so there's a federal
Like a standard
standard
across the
that
board.
happens.
Everybody
across
makes
the
the same
board.
at DEI.
Before that, Henderson was paid significantly more. You know your punishment is done. So,
I don't disagree.
I mean, I'm always for somebody getting paid what they're worth and what their job is, what they're doing. Especially if, larger facility, more people more people to manage. I mean, it's a big responsibility, so not take anything away from any of the other directors.
Not at all.
Not at all.
They're all great.
A little bit different environment, obviously, so,
absolutely.
I mean, I would be fine with that. I guess it's just, the budget amount, how that's gonna, that's something we propose it and then budget. So
Well,
it's-
we would put it in here. If we put in, the 5,000, we'd still be under $1 million for their budget. So that's my thought. So, or 3,000, I mean, what, I said 5,000. I just want to make other thoughts.
I think it's warranted.
Yeah, I would be fine with 5,000. Totally.
Okay. Right. It's the same
adding an extra day? Would this be based on adding a Friday?
No.
No. So it's not based on any other metric than does she have the biggest library?
She has a bigger library, she has a bigger responsibility, and she has a larger workload. Yes.
Than our library. So Gallatin's open 44 hours a week.
It is. It's not as large, and we aren't on Gallatin's budget yet. We're talking about Hendersonville.
I'm not for it. So,
Any reason in particular?
because we have 5 librarians who all work equally hard based on, I don't think it's about, I know she has always made more, but we don't have a metric for it except the size of the library.
Which, with that comes bigger staff, right? Larger square footage.
More help,
Yeah.
more help.
Well, more people to manage.
More people to manage is the,
I got you.
the biggest
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
Okay.
I'd like to see us do it for everybody.
mhm.
I'd like to see us do it for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, all for one and one for all. It's, you know, we're all in this together. So, you know, if one gets an increase like that, they all should get something.
And
But didn't all of them get an increase
They all did get an
last
increase
year?
last year, except for Alicia.
Except for
Hers- I mean, like, there is a fairness factor of that. Everybody did get an increase, except for her position. Like, pretty substantial jump for,
everyone in the county got that. And so we will have to account for depression because those were mandated raises throughout the county. Just like when they lived minimum wage, it causes, when they, in the private sector, when they lift minimum wage, nobody gets a raise next year. So everybody's getting, or planning for 3% this year. So, and she still makes more than the other librarian.
Right.
No.
Take care. Have a great weekend. Thanks.
She's 60,000,
Okay.
and everyone else was just brought up to the 58,763.
So she's $1,000.
Yep.
So how about we do 4,000?
I'm not, I think everyone, I agree with Jackie. That the metric being that her library is larger is not enough. So,
So if someone oversees 5,000 people and someone oversees 4,000 people, and they hold the same title, they should get paid the same.
they should all get at least.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
If someone oversees
I just
5,000
think we
people.
don't have, they all have the same title. We don't have a step system. We don't have, Anita has far more experience in libraries and with the county than Alicia. By that metric, by the way, typically the way we handle things is who has more experience makes more money.
Not, well, there are ways in which that would not come into play because Anita, the library director, and someone underneath her comes in and has 20 years experience and Anita would only have 10. Are we going to pay the person with 20 more than Anita? If we're basing it on experience?
I am simply stating that I don't believe it's fair to offer one a raise and not offer everyone else a raise.
I think
Because they're all required to be responsible for all of the things that go on inside of their libraries. And one may be larger than the other, but they have less help than they have, than Alicia has. I
Is
think
there not salary increases on everybody's budget? Sure.
everybody's getting
Everybody's getting 3%.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
And when everyone else came to standard the last time around,
11%.
did she get any kind of significant increase like everybody else did?
So why not?
So originally, it's
Because she was already at the amount that was federally
The standard.
mandated. And so
So the county was already paying her more.
because they recognized that she should be paid more.
that it is always,
She operated a bigger business, if you
before
will.
this mandate, every library was paid upon the size, basically, of their library. That has how it has been until Biden, a Democrat, put in an equitable thing and made everybody come up to one standard, which is a federal mandate. So,
Which
yes,
I'm happy for everyone who
I
got the
am absolutely
increase.
happy for
By
everyone.
all means, I'm happy for them.
But there is a difference between
The
someone having
responsibilities.
one thing and then there being different levels because of responsibility.
So was the mandate 11% increase? Is that what it was, you think?
They had a salary study last year, so 5% was COLA and 6%, so just about everybody, each department was given 11% per employee raise.
Okay.
And budget chairman said that that would not happen this year because we had 2% in 23, 24. So 24, 25 got basically 11% across the board. And then we had to list all of the not exempt, I get exempt and non-exempt confused. The salary people all had to come up to the 58,763.
But
So
if you
if
were
you were
already
making-
there, you didn't get any increase. Is that right? If
Correct.
you were already at that.
Yes.
Right, but she was, I don't know, so you didn't even get 5%, Alicia?
She got the COLA.
So you did get the 5% raise, Alicia?
The goal.
The COLA, which everybody got.
That's okay, I understand that everybody got the COLA.
Yes.
I just don't think we should do it.
Even the county recognized that she needed to be getting paid more.
Right.
Yes.
Because of the size of the staff in the library and the
Before
patrons
the
coming in
Yes,
and all
the
that.
DEI.
Before the equitable
Mhm.
thing that happened, yes. The county recognized for years, even when they did the salary worksheet years ago in 2021, 2022, that each library should have been paid differently based upon.
Based on their size.
Correct.
So why don't we figure out the amount that she should have gotten paid to stay in that same amount and give her that, and it may not be 5,000, maybe it's 4,200 or whatever.
Go ahead.
Well, I think worth considering, comparison is a thief of joy, right? And so to somehow think that Alicia being, rewarded for the work and the responsibility is somehow denying recognition of other people who work hard, I think that's unfair and likely isn't a good precedent. And I think when we talk about responsibility, there's the government side of things, but then, I think to use another for-profit, biz, and that would be, pro sports teams, right? You've got your large market teams and your small market teams. And a rookie in a large market team is going to make more money, than your 12-year veteran in Milwaukee. There's simply more responsibility in the large market, and I think that's worth recognizing. It's not only, is it larger and has more staff, which, sure, equates to more help, but it needs that help because it likely has more foot traffic than any other, library we have. And it's not, I see there's no disrespect to anybody else, for the
Yeah.
I think they're through mutual
Is the job description the same?
It is, you're right.
So they're all doing the very same job?
Just
Or
on a
yeah,
different scale.
Baseball players have the same job descriptions as well. You know,
Yes.
doesn't mean they're all created equal in their respective markets. And, you know,
And I don't think we're saying that they're not all doing their jobs, it's just
Correct.
at what scale, is it being done? Like, her teen programs, her, children's programs, how many patrons are coming in and out of the buildings, so I think it's more of a scale thing, not, a quality of their job description or their leadership.
No. It has nothing to do with equality at all. We all have, they're all quality people. That's not coming into play, but it's just simply before this mandate came in,
They were
recognized that way. And I don't see why they can't be recognized that way again. And, so,
And we're still considering no extra hours for Henderson Library.
$3,000 isn't going to
I'm not talking about
$4,000.
the raise, we're still
That's
not
not
talking
even
about
that word.
extra being open on Friday or anything.
That's,
No extra work.
that's not on the agenda to talk about, no.
What would be something we would put in the budget, so the budget's on the agenda.
Correct.
We have not budgeted any money for any extra hours for Henderson Library.
No.
Okay, thank you.
is that something you'd like?
The city would like that.
That-
Alderman,
The city isn't here. I mean, is that something you would like?
I am a representative of the city and of the county, yes.
So that's something you would like?
I have been asked by multiple people, and I put a post on Facebook asking, and the only thing people want for the city of Hendersonville, who live in the city of Hendersonville, outside of some literacy classes, is they want their library open. They don't want programs, they don't want anything, they just want their library open on Fridays.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would have thought that would have been budgeted, since it's been in the newspaper and it's been, we've gotten emails about it. I know the mayor has talked to you about it, spoken with you, emailed with you about it. So it's not a mystery. So I just thought it might be in the budget.
Again, is that something that you would like?
As a representative of the city of Hendersonville and its residents and this county, yes, I think it's something that it should be put in the budget. We discussed it last year at the county, and we haven't even brought it up this year.
I have a question. Is anybody here, other than in reference to the donation that we have absolutely no authority over,
Right.
has anyone been asked, or have you received an email pertaining to this subject outside of the donation money?
No.
No?
Library, the extended library hours seem to be directly tied, to the bequeathment, request, I guess, which has its own set of challenges, for
Okay.
longevity. So, yeah, I'd love to discuss the library hours, who's gonna pay for it.
Exactly. So,
I've never heard it in libraries for business, ever. I've never heard it here.
I've heard it talked about for years.
Here,
I've talked
never heard it here.
about it.
I've heard it talked about,
Yeah.
never talked about here.
yeah, and it was brought up 2 years ago,
Yeah.
but
And it's one of those,
But it was also said that the county wouldn't give the money, and there was no money, there was a, and I remember correctly, that, and you had even said at that meeting, that the letter said that there's money that the Hendersonville mayor said, oh yeah, I feel confident
they
that-
never passed the
and they
resolution
never passed the
to
resolution. So,
get the money. I mean, I think it's in their budget. They talked about it. They never truly passed the resolution
So
because
therefore-
they couldn't get it budgeted from the county.
So-
But it has been talked about. Other things besides this have been thrown around out there. You just never can get down to brass tacks.
So, again, no citizen has ever emailed me about it. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it, and nothing other than the thing that was talked about 2 years ago, then it was dropped, and then it only came up again with this in reference to this donation, which we have no control over. So if anybody here receives anything? No?
I have a question. So if we were to find the money to open on Fridays, would the library close on a different day? Or are we just looking to extend, because then they would be open, what, 6 days a week?
Right.
Well, I would think, here's the problem with that question, is that no formal proposal has ever been sent to us. So I would be careful to even pose that, because that conversation, because again, it's never been posed. And if I do recall, when Alan Morales was here, I straight asked him at a board meeting, do you feel that it's a need? And he said, no, there's no need for extra, I don't find a need. And I've asked Alicia, do you feel it's a need? And she said, nobody asked. Am I incorrect, Alicia? Okay, so because of the donation part. So at this point in time, I think that, again, unless you all have heard or gotten something that I haven't, it's a non-subject at this point in time.
was not referring to the donation dollars. It's not wise to use a one-time gift for a recurring cost, and so if we were to open, that would be a recurring cost on Friday.
Sure. I think we need to do
So-
a needs assessment.
So, yes, and I would think a poll would be good through the library to see what the community wanted. And because the mayor is very vocal about wanting to be open on Fridays. So, and he says that citizens want it, and I have talked to people who say that they want it. But if you choose to not to ask to have it put in the budget, then certainly don't ask to have it put in the budget. Because we don't need it. It's a level 5 library. State standards says that it should be open 60 hours a week.
Yes, and I have talked to Cecilia, and we said it numerous times, the standard is not a law, it's more of a want or a guideline, and they understand that, setting that standard is not exactly something that, libraries can achieve, and so there's absolutely no pressure to do that, so.
To note, the mayor's letter that I received just today does tie the extended hours to the,
For the quiz.
to the fund.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
If this were to come to budget, I would never approve a one-time expenditure
Well,
for
I do
a
believe-
recurring cost.
But I think to go back to the heart of the matter, the request for more hours is directly tied to funds that we have no control over, and that you agree
Wouldn't get approved
is
anyway.
unwise to tie, long-term usage to limited funds.
Right.
Okay.
And I do believe that the Facebook post that you're referencing did reference the
I think so, too.
donation
Yeah.
in the extended hours, and you did post that. So you did reference the extra hours and the donation together.
I did not reference the extra
okay.
hours. People commented asking for it.
Okay.
So, and the overwhelming response was, we would like our library open for 8 hours on Friday.
Okay. All right, and I could be wrong. So, okay, so, I've been wrong.
And while we're on that, the 5% weeding, is that a standard or is that a law? Or a
It's in our policy.
I just couldn't remember if it was in the policy. I know it's in the state standards, so I didn't know if it was a standard or a policy.
Sure. Yes.
I'm gonna call the question on,
Okay.
and I'll move first for the increase in pay,
Okay.
$5,000.
Okay.
I guess we'll do that, and then we'll vote on the budget.
Okay, do you have a second?
Second.
And Mike, Jim, all right, that's me on here. Okay, all right, so $5,000 increase.
Yep.
Correct.
In pay. Yep.
And pay. All right, 5,000, so the motion is on the table for a $5,000 increase in pay for Hendersonville. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
No.
Okay. Two. So, Jackie. Nay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. So then, we will accept the, Hendersonville budget. Accepted, which,
You have to vote on it.
We have,
oh, okay, sorry. And then we will, sorry, I just saw, I got swirled because I was
That's all
like, wait,
right.
what's this?
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
I move to accept the Hendersonville budget as amended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
No.
To oppose.
All right, going to Gallatin. I'll be honest, Gabby sent this
8:30 last night.
8:30 last night. I have not had a chance to look over and see if the, corrections were made. So, one thing I was going to talk about is, an increase in pay for Gallatin since they are the second largest. And I was gonna ask for like, maybe like a $2,000 increase, since she does have she is the second largest in the library, and when they were doing the salaries, Gallatin was the second largest in salary. So I was gonna ask for like a $2,000 increase in her pay. Hmm? Oh, okay. I just like to look at it. Okay, a lot of this stuff is just, I asked her to, I didn't expect her to, all of it be printed out, just wanted to see a bunch of, she's wanting, some improvements for the floor and the Capitol, so
And she sent us all pictures of that stuff. too.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing that I don't understand why she still has in there is the repair and replace of HVAC, because she said it doesn't need to be replaced. So I'm not, if that's what I remember.
I remember her thinking that it had not been being maintained, but then we talked a little bit about that yes, they do come in and change the filters and things like that.
Yeah.
She was saying basically because the age of it, she felt like it needed to be replaced. However, I don't know that we have any maintenance reports or anything saying it needs to be replaced, because she said it's still working.
Yeah, she said it's maintained on a regular basis. They haven't had any problems with it that I know of, that she said. And so I didn't understand why. So moved to put that to next year because there hasn't been any problems.
So I have a random question, because I know I don't always budget my personal self for an HVAC unit that might be older than, it should be, and if it goes out, what happens? So if we don't budget for it, and in the summer, Gallatin's HVAC unit goes out and they say it needs to be replaced, what happens then?
She has to come to budget, and then we have to give her a capital allocation for it.
Okay.
Just any library would
Sure.
have to do that.
Right, and that's what I was just saying, if we take it out of the budget and move it,
Well,
go ahead, Sherry, I'm sorry.
if you go ahead and budget for it, if it's not spent, the next year it just goes back into general fund. Because it just all goes back.
Oh, okay.
So,
This isn't asking for it in the budget, this is
Oh,
asking
for
for it as a
capital.
capital
Yeah,
outlay.
it's in a capital.
Yeah, it's a capital outlay that she's asking for it.
Yeah.
unless it's encumbered, it just goes back too, it all disappears. So if if Westmoreland doesn't spend the money on the windows, it just disappears. July 1, it all just goes away. They don't have separate savings accounts. We have
The general
the
fund.
general fund,
Okay.
and so June 30th, July 1 at midnight, it all just goes right back to general.
So if we were to request it in the capital outlay and during the 25, 26 period, they don't have to replace it, then it just goes back to the general fund?
Right.
Okay,
So it
I see.
doesn't hurt to be proactive.
okay, I see.
Because
That makes sense.
if they don't have it, they won't allow it anyway.
Okay.
But if it's an emergency, then,
Mhm.
and she had said something about, maintenance had said something about it, but I don't recall. I really don't recall the details. So, and we can't have, an air conditioner out in the
No.
library, any of our libraries in the summer.
Well, if that's the thinking, then we should put a capital request in for every library for the HVAC system, except for Alicia too.
Her HVAC's 11 years old, so if you put the request in and it's not used, at least they can plan for it because
Sure, put
No,
it on
what
their
I'm
radar.
saying is I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that if that's the mindset, then we should do that for every library that has a
Dated.
HVAC system that's dated. Are we on the same thinking?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, but only if they're not like Hendersonville had theirs replaced.
That's what I said, so
So
for
not
Hendersonville,
Hendersonville,
brand new.
so I don't know where we are on every other library. But hers is 11 years old, it wouldn't hurt.
Mhm.
And I don't know, does she even have any idea how much one would cost?
She requested 20,000.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
She doesn't have an explanation. Oh, here it is. I apologize. Request and bargaining for potential repairs to replace an HVAC system installed in 2008. So it's actually more than 11 years. So there it is.
It'd be 18, 19, 20, 22, 23.
Comprehensive inspection will help identify
Yeah.
on this part, on this paper.
Yes, it is.
So
25
we're
years
looking
old, yeah.
at 16 years old, for an HVAC system. The comprehensive inspection will help identify any issues, so, she doesn't show that it's a problem,
Yeah.
but it's based simply on the fact that it's 17 old.
Almost 60, yeah, 17 years.
17-year-old.
Yeah, I think it's smart to ask for it, yeah. I do, I think so too. I think it's smart.
It will break on the
Okay.
Mother's Day and
Yeah,
all
I think
that.
it's smart to have it in there, like Shannon said, just to
Okay.
Yeah.
give them a
Literally
heads
how
up,
that goes.
this is coming.
Right.
We've had single digit temperatures.
Like working extra hard right now, Jackie, you're right.
Yeah, so,
I
but
agree.
it'll wait till August when people,
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Because single digits and we had snow, so they could close for a day. But
Mhm.
that won't happen in August.
And frankly, with an expense this large, it's over $25,000, you have to bid it out and everything. So it could be that part of this money is used for the comprehensive assessment, and then if they come back and say it needs to be replaced, then that would come back to budget. And if it were to be over $25,000, it would have to be bid out anyway, by law. So, you know, and that then would all go through budget and have to be voted on at Fulton County Commission. So it would go through several tiers of scrutiny. And I guess she would bid that out herself, I don't know how that would work.
I think with it being that old, I'm in agreement with it being that old to be on there. I have no problem with that at all. Understandable.
The commercial units last longer, but, that's a long time.
But when it's 16 years old and
Right.
it gets a lot of use,
The last repair, she said, was
two-story too, yeah, that's even worse. Okay.
So do we need to make, a motion for the, 2,000 increase for her?
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I do apologize, guys. You know, I met with Gabby in January, and I've had to meet with her 4 or 5 times to get this budget together, and so I apologize for not having it all together. So, it's been interesting. So go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, this one comes with 40 pages of attachments. I've got, you know, causes to look at it. The first thing that caught my mind is, about midway through the packet is the Girl Scout troop, request to refinish the outdoor, the outside furniture. And I remember dealing with this when I first got on the board back in '23. Like, this is, you know, see the email stamp at the top. This is from September of 2023. I don't, do we know why this is in this budget?
No. You know, it's the teak furniture that was donated that's outside on the patio.
Yeah.
And,
Needs to get refinished again.
okay. Yes, and another commissioner tried to have maintenance do it or something, which then would not be an excessive cost. But I don't know what happened from there. And
Right.
it all coincided with the carpet. So why hasn't it been done yet? Is that where you're going?
No, I mean, why are we using, I guess, the estimates and the communications from 2023 in a 2025 budget? I mean, this is already done and I don't know.
Yeah.
So, hold on, you know, and so, you know, that
Because I
brings up the
guarantee
thing.
you it's going to be more expensive now.
And then this invoice from CertaPro is dated March 11th, 2022. And I don't know why a 2022 invoice would be in a 2025 budget. And this, Lowe's rental equipment, where do I see the fine print there?
Does some of this have to do though with the resurfacing the outside of the library? Not resurfacing.
The
She's got to
facade?
have, yes, and I talked to her about that, and I told her that General Ops, David Klein needs to go, Commissioner Klein needs to go out there and look at that, because it's a county building, and that was not something, if it has special materials, that I felt comfortable for her to be doing outside of purview of general operations. Not that she's not qualified to call 3 contractors, but because it's a county building. And it's, what, sandstone or some special stone or something.
Okay. So,
Yeah, but I guess, and all which, I mean, that's fine, you know, and I take that word that that's what's going on, but these are all dated invoices from a few years ago.
Well, I don't know, maybe she just wants to cover her bases. I think we could just deal with the budget we're looking at.
Well, these are part of the attachment.
this
This
is
is part of
the
the
attachment
budget.
to support her budget. So,
This paint one is 2021, March of 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty,
Well, I'm not a mind reader, but maybe she's just letting you know that's where she's coming from. If if they're invoices, then it's money she spent, so she may be using it to justify an increase or the amount that's there.
Okay, but it's an invoice from 3 years ago? I mean, wouldn't you get a new estimate, with inflation and all that stuff? When you want a more accurate price reflection?
Again, not a mind reader.
Nor mine, yeah.
But we, okay. Okay. Again, I didn't even have time.
Yeah.
I had asked her to send everything by Tuesday or Wednesday. I didn't get it until 8:30 last night, so, I don't think, I do know this, is that on program supplies, instructional supplies and materials, which is on the second page, she's asking for $1,000 more this year, and, so what she told me is, that she let go of her children's librarian. And according to Gabby, the children's librarian, has not been doing many programs, because the children's librarian doesn't want to. So even though Gabby wanted more programs, and yes, anyways, and so, I don't know why, and then she also told me that even though it's in our policy to weed, the children's librarian refused to do any weeding for the last 2 years. And so I asked her if her other staff did, and she said no, because the children's librarian would not let anybody touch the books. So, okay. So, but I did talk to her about the program supplies, and I asked her if she would be willing to ask for a donation instead of after an extra $1,000, and she had said no in the beginning, but then at the budget meeting she said that, sure, no problem. So I personally feel that the program supplies could come from a friend or asking for donations, such as Anita and Amy have said that they ask for donations from the community. I think that that's something that could be handled that way. You know, that's my thoughts on that. Because I'm looking at the increase is about almost $20,000, so $19,000, and that could be just the COLA. I think that's
Which one?
it would be, the line item I'm looking at is would be the instructional supplies and materials. And it's going from 27.04 up to 37.53 to $1,000, and increase is 7.0. Last year was 685. It's going up to 703.
Will you show me the page you're looking at? Just turn your paper around and let me look at it.
Second one. I got it.
Because they don't have names on the top, so I don't know.
It was in the all papers put together with hers.
Right, but it's all, because it's not stapled, it's all mixed up now.
I think that's the right one though, Shannon.
Her librarians are at 125, 253 in that line. We're looking at this page. What is the number in the top corner?
It's the next page, the second page.
That's the one you were looking for right there.
I've got the right one. Thank you.
Okay.
So what were you asking about? Which one were you talking about?
I was talking about the instructional supplies and materials. It's on the second
Okay.
page, fourth line down.
Yeah.
You see where I'm talking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just No, so is the difference between last year's 685 to 703, the total, would that just be the COLA difference? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. So there's 4,000, 1,000, 1,000, 3. So it's probably mainly COLA.
I think so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to make sure that, you know, I know $1,000 isn't a lot, but I'm going to ask that she start asking for donations, and, you know, so that $1,000 would probably go towards, you know.
It can help offset her increase that we're asking for.
Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, so, you know, I mean, it could go towards more computers, more, you know, stuff like that could be funded, because the supplies for programs could be funded by donations and friends. So, but again, my suggestion, and if you guys keep an extra $2,000 for the Gallatin salary, since she does have a larger library, and for her salary for $2,000. I'll entertain a motion to, so as far as our capital improvement, are we keeping everything on there? Are we taking the $25,000 off of the building facade? Because you had mentioned, Shannon, about you wanted Data Klein to talk about.
I don't know anything about it. I would think that, I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know. I'm just saying when she told me about it, she said it was some type of sandstone or something, which made me think that it was something that GenOps needed to look at. Because it sounds like it's not like brick. Yeah, pressure washing, and because it's downtown, and because I'm thinking you're gonna have to
And so
block
what
traffic, you're gonna,
what I
have
have
no
heard
idea
was
what
that
it'd be like.
it looks bad, and that someone had come to try to do something, they did a bad job of fixing something. That's all she told me. So,
She said somewhere that had never been sealed, I think, that
Yeah.
it should have been sealed.
in my opinion, take the $25,000 off, keep the HVAC on there, put the $25,000 to next year until we talk to GenOps about how to take care of it. That's my proposal.
And in this email she sent about the lighting.
Yes, she said they'd like to add
I
replacing
talked,
lighting.
yes, and I talked to, today to Robert from maintenance, and I asked him to explain how that's dealt with in the budget. Because when maintenance goes over there, they don't send the library a bill. But if it's something, he said they would have to rent the crane, to get in the lights, and they want to replace their collector lights. They're beautiful lights, but she said they get animals, like they've had bats and bugs in them, and then when they come to replace the lights, they still have to rent the crane to get up there to replace the bulb. So I asked Robert Gann is his name in maintenance, and he said they want to replace them with LED lights to kind of just plug in. And I said, so 10,000-hour lights, and he said, no, 5 to 7 year lights. So it would reduce energy costs, and it would reduce the times that they spend in there doing that.
And increased visibility.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And she said they'd already put 4 in upstairs. I don't know, I just had to have it explained to me. I'm for the architectural lights. Because I think they're pretty. But, I don't work there, so.
So is that something we need to include in capital outlay?
Yes.
Because she just has a line item, but it doesn't have an amount or
And
anything.
Okay, so we're gonna have to move forward.
lights are 20 years old.
Okay,
But
so,
we can do that in budget.
Okay, so, you know, my opinion is the painting, $8,000, and the repair for HVAC, $20,000. Keep that, take the repair and building facade off of it, and then, $2,000 extra for salary for Gallatin director. Okay. So we can vote on them separately or together?
I think they have to be separate.
Okay, so,
I make a motion that we increase her pay by $2,000.
okay,
Second.
Erica, Cam, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
No.
Okay. And Jackie. All right, and then, take the, building facade off of the capital fund request, and just leave the painting and the repair and replace HVAC on there.
Oh, do we want to move the facade repair to 27?
That is what we had originally
Yeah,
discussed.
yeah, yeah.
You said, and then you just said remove, so I wanted to make sure.
No problem, then use that for long term. We do have capital in the back of our budget.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do think that's gonna happen.
Huh?
That's gonna happen. It's gonna have to be allocated somewhere.
Well, somebody needs to go look at it, and it's not me, because
I'll entertain a motion to do that.
Motion,
Mike?
can we do that?
Have a second?
I'm sorry, what are we?
Pam?
what-
Moving it to 27.
Yes,
Move
okay,
it
sorry.
to the facade. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay? All right, great, and so that concludes the Gallatin, budget, and we are gonna have to move quickly here, going
Do the
now
whole
on to.
Oh, we need to do the whole budget.
We need to approve it with the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I approve, I entertain a motion to approve the Gallatin budget as amended.
So move.
Mike, second,
Second.
Erica, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. Abstain? Okay. Any abstain, sorry, I was about to ask, sorry, abstain. Okay? Okay. All right, so now we're gonna move on to Millersville. All right. Jim, would you like, not Jim, Mike, would you like to, quickly talk about this?
Sure. I think the biggest thing we talked about the last budget meeting was, the raise and pay for the staff that Amy proposed, not that same raise for herself, so that was the big thing. I don't have my notes from the meeting that we had, but, I know the computers was a big thing, and I guess that being required, you know, that's gonna be able to be approved, because I guess it's gonna be happening with every library.
I have a question. At the budget meeting, did we approve to move it forward with a 20% increase? I
No,
don't
with
think that we did.
clarification.
Yeah, but yet it's on this budget that she sent to us. This budget actually that she sent is incorrect, because we didn't approve a 20% increase
Or,
In salaries.
in salaries.
yeah, no, we did not.
And she sent it still with a 20% increase.
Okay.
So we actually didn't approve that in budget committee. She's asking for a 20% increase in wages for everybody except for herself. And personally, you know, I'm not for that. But, so this budget that you're looking at isn't the one that we actually moved out of budget committee.
Are you having trouble keeping staff? Are your staff paid below all the other staff members in the region? Like in the other libraries? to, sorry, so they all have what the other libraries pay their
Clerks, et cetera.
I don't have that information, it's just based on the salary survey done by the county last year, as well as the cost of receipts and rent and gas, and I know I shouldn't have this story, I think it's ridiculous that government employees have to go on government programs to be able to, because government employees.
Oh, okay.
I don't care if she asks. I sit on budget, I don't care if she asks. There's 7 people on budget, she can ask whatever she wants.
But, I'm not for it, I'm for the normal 5% increase that, you know.
3%.
3%.
Oh, 3%, sorry, last year was 5%, thank you. For everybody, that, you know, is normal, but if anybody else is.
And maybe check with the other libraries to see if their clerks are paid commensurate.
Just on job openings I've seen, they are not, they are paid less.
But the other board directors in the
Based on
county.
the job descriptions that I've seen previously, they have been posted, it would appear that they are less. And as I told Shannon, I haven't gotten the salary for the companies of the other directors, so I wouldn't be able to pinpoint exactly which one.
So clerk one, job opening throughout.
Yeah,
You're saying,
they pay differently, because again, in the county, we don't have staff.
right,
So really quickly, I asked finance about this. I said, who sets these pays? And they said the library directors do.
Right, so in county government, when we say everybody gets COLA, they do get COLA, but then when they get anything over COLA, that can be moved around. So it is at the director's discretion. She can pay one clerk one more than the other clerk one, just like EMS, et cetera.
So, you know, with that being said, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because we're in the process of learning this, she can literally set the hourly rate for clerk one, clerk two, and clerk three. She has full discretion over that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, so then my question here, and complete ignorance here, if you're seeing other people and jobs being paid a certain amount, then why wasn't those job descriptions matching the other people?
It's the money in the budget. With my part-time, full-time doesn't have the same amount as any of the other libraries, and so can't pay. I can't say, yes, I will hire you at such amount, because I wouldn't have enough to pay them.
Okay. So then you're asking for, so my question here is then, can you just say, hey, I need more money in part-time, or tell me?
I am requesting 2 additional full-time employees and taking the pay for 2 part-time employees, because I removed their role and moved that to cover the benefits for the 2 full-time employees, because we do have a large turnover in staff, it's larger than most of the other libraries. Part of it is because there is nothing to draw or keep anybody employed to. It's difficult to get anybody from Millersville to even apply for a job at the library because of how low the pay is. And so if I am able, I've been talking to patrons, and I've been talking to people at the city commission. When I go, I've been talking to people at the community center, and they say that they would be more interested if there was something. Because they could go up to the Dollar General and make more an hour than what I pay.
But what do you pay your
The clerk one starts at $12.20 an hour. And then, there are 8 of us total, 3 full-time employees, and the building cannot run if we don't have a full-time employee on site. And then we have 5 part-time employees.
So the 3 full-time, they're at 12.20 now?
Yeah, that's the clerk, that's part-time. So, Debbie, our cataloger, which is a specialized approach. is, you're still shipping on the.
They don't have to say their names and their income with kind of, yeah, that was for privacy reasons.
There's no such thing as privacy in government, so it doesn't matter if she says her name, but she doesn't need to say her last name.
Yeah, I just was curious, I
just felt like you're pregnant
people wouldn't.
Just, clerk one is what,
Well, it's not based on, because I have several quick ones that they get paid differently, because some of them have been there longer. Some of them have additional duties. So all of the quick ones hired at most will start at $12.20 an hour, and that is higher than when the previous vacancy was. Because I cut the part-time employees, so I did raise it, because I think it was at $9 was the starting pay. And then, like, the specialized part-time employees, like the children's library, the catalog, they get paid more. And then the clerks that work at the desk, because their responsibilities and duties.
I'm so sorry, because we're already at an hour, and I know, so my question here is, because I want to make sure that we get out of here, and I want to get your needs met. So, what is it that you're asking for? You just said you want to ask for 2 more full-time and take away a part-time?
So what I'm asking for in the budget that I submitted is for 2 additional full-time employees, one at 35 hours, one at 40.
Okay.
And as well as keeping 3 part-time positions, and that would be removing 2 part-time positions to pay for the benefits of the 2 full-time.
So likely converting 2 of the part-times to full-time.
Well, the part-time pay that I was removing wouldn't be enough to cover the cost of
Okay.
the salary, but it would cover the
Yeah,
benefits.
manpower doesn't change, or bodies don't change, body numbers
Right.
don't change, got it.
Okay,
8 employees.
okay, so you want 8 employees?
So instead
No.
of 3 and 5, it'll be 5 and 3. 5 full-time, 3 part-time.
Okay,
With an increase for the 2 new full-time employees.
okay. And how much of an increase for part-time do you want?
I was going to, I'm asking for a 20% increase based on the 3 part-time positions, not 5 part-time positions. Because I paid,
And are you asking for an increase in pay in the full-time?
I am. Because we are not paying a livable wage. And I understand that we don't get into libraries to make money, which is absolutely true. But when my employees come to me and ask me to write letters so that they can get on government assistance, I feel that we're doing a disservice to citizens in Sumner County because they live in this county and we can't pay them enough to live. And that, I've sent all this documentation, the justification for the income based on, everything.
And I hear what you're saying, and so, I'm not for a 20% increase, but I can see flipping to 2 more full-time, going from 3 full-time to 5 full-time, and keeping 3 part-time, only because, like in Westmoreland, I know I fought for her to get an extra full-time because it's hard to get people to actually work up there. I can understand the argument to switch it to more full-time so that people have an incentive to actually go and work there. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can't see such a huge increase in pay because the full-time you get benefits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make all that? Go ahead.
Yeah, current pay is, what again, remind me, an hour?
Well, it depends on each of the full-time employees get paid differently.
Right.
It's just an average
Yeah,
full-time.
you're saying your clerk 1 is
$14.
I don't have any full-time clerks.
Okay,
I have a senior clerk, and they're making $16.10 an hour.
yeah.
And they're technically the second in command if I'm not there,
That would put them around $20 an hour.
which is comparable for the amount of work that they do.
Yeah, okay.
Alicia, do clerks in your area make $20 an hour? Anita, do clerks in your area make $20 an hour?
Not clerk, but the operations manager does.
Okay, but part-timers don't make $20 an hour?
Well, it's not part-time position.
Okay, but your operations manager, they make it,
My senior clerk is operations manager.
are the operations coordinator.
And how much are you wanting your part-timers to come up to?
I would like them to come up to about, well, if I did the math, and I did it on my sheet, it was about $14 an hour, which is still less than they could make if they went and worked at.
Elisa, do you have people making less than $14 an hour in Hendersonville? Okay, Anita, do you have people making less than $14 an hour in Portland? Okay, so, and I understand that, you know, across the board, we have people making less than $14 an hour in all the libraries. I'm for, again, switching it to 2 more full-time, 3 part-time, so that to give incentive in a smaller community, but those full-timers would come in my opinion, at the lowest amount for full-time, because it's going to be a new position.
In the salary worksheet that I sent, I have 1 full-time position at 40 hours at $15.50, and 1 full-time position at $17.50 for 35 hours.
Okay. What are your thoughts? I think those are,
It's on the salary worksheet.
It's on this one, yeah.
Right. What are your thoughts? I think, why is the $35 hours and 17?
That is going to be a full-time catalog acquisition and collection investor. So we are, as everybody knows, we're getting so much more foot traffic is coming in, checking items out, and our part-time cataloger isn't able to keep up with everything that is going on in the library. She is getting older, she's no longer hiring in that.
How much is your cataloger making? You know? Good. What's your?
It should be on the salary worksheet.
You can't compare mine because she's been there for so long, but she's gotten COLAs throughout the years and everything, so mine's not a good comparison.
Okay.
And she has a master's degree in library.
Same with your 15, she's about 15, and you wanted 17?
So very reasonable in the standard library full budget, because it's adding additionally, not just cataloging and actual addition, it's also the sectioning, so it's adding a third aspect to it.
Thanks, Amy. Were these issues brought to the budget committee?
No. What were they?
See, this is the same information that I sent to the budget committee. They didn't talk about payroll and that question well, which is why I put it as well, they mentioned I need
When we looked at it, we just looked at it again, it was so much, and there was, she basically said 20% overall, and honestly, it was so much information, so I apologize.
But it hasn't come out of committee with any sort of recommendation?
No, because we were like, there's no way we can do that, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
It looks like that's a $60,000.
So my recommendation is that, if we do full-timers, that they be at the amount that is a first-time person. You know what I mean? So, like if yours is already at $15 an hour, and that's after a few COLAs, that it be at like, you know, $14.50 an hour.
I'm hiring for an office, the Jesse, she's moving to Alabama, and the job has been posted for 2 weeks. I have had 3 people apply.
Well, that's a lot in 3 weeks.
It's not, I usually get about 80 for part-time positions, and 3 for full-time position, and I would call that a sales person, not necessarily.
Okay.
So begin again what you were saying.
What I was saying is that, getting rid of the 2 full-time, giving you 3 part-time,
Right.
but it being at, you know, we can say $15 an hour.
I don't think we should get into setting the wage. Because once her budget is passed, she gets to do what she wants to with it. If she's asking for 20% of salary, then I don't have a problem approving it, because at the end of the day, budget gets to decide.
I get that, but we're supposed to oversee it and send budget what we feel. That's the whole purpose of us having this hour, 10-minute meeting. So
I don't feel like we should be setting salary because the dollar amount per part-time employee.
I'm just trying to use it so that I can get a number.
I think it's just a consideration of that.
Yes, I'm not saying.
I'm just saying if she's asking for 20%, I don't have a problem sending that on. It's not gonna be like the end of the world for budget if we cut it. Going up is a problem, going down is not a problem.
I get it, but, a 20% increase, we're gonna put Millersville 20%, well, then why don't we do 20% for everybody else?
She could have asked.
Yeah, again, I don't
And
want
in the, thank you for not including yourself in this.
Yeah, and that is a common, they do that a lot in the county. The supervisor
their
will
people.
ask more, they'll forego their increase. Sometimes even a COLA to take
Keep
that
their people.
money and spread it across to keep it with their staff, to keep staff. Because you don't want to lose institutional.
Costs more to hire and train than it does to keep.
that's right.
Yes.
I think sometimes this notion of fairness gets in the way of doing reasonable things, and, fairness is, God forbid Mike has cardiac arrest, I have to give everybody in the room CPR just to be fair. And I think that's bad policy. If they need staff, needs that, and we need that to attract talent up there, we might be in an awesome position that we don't need to do that to attract talent to Hendersonville or the more populated areas. I mean, that is what it is. And then, budget at the county level can.
Yeah,
They can decide.
and that's a problem. My husband was, some of the contractors, consultants, and in West Tennessee, they would have to pay a physical therapist $10,000 more a year than they would pay them in Memphis.
That's right.
Because they won't, there's not even a Hardee's in town.
Nobody
But there's
wants to-
a nursing home, but there's not a
Well, and
Hardee's.
that's why I
That's
said
normal.
I'm also.
Right, but I don't think we should be getting into we set the director's pay. I don't think we should be getting into setting.
Again, I wasn't saying setting their pay, I was using it as a reference on how much money to add to the budget.
Well, if she's asking for 20%, I would motion that we go ahead and send it to budget.
And let
So
them
as
decide.
is, and let budget decide, because there's no money there, she won't get it, and I'm sure she's aware of that. So,
Okay, but I just want to be sure that we understand that the whole reason for the board is for us to actually be able to
send a suggestion to budget.
to decide what is best, and then we send it to budget, correct? So we're actually the ones to say, and then we actually have to be the ones to defend the decisions that we're making, correct?
Well, anyone on budget could call her and talk to her and ask her if they had questions.
Okay, all right,
We're now
So-
at 45.
yes.
I'm okay with the 20%. I'm okay with
Just submitting it.
we need to make sure we can, that Amy can get the staff that she needs and the people that she wants. Maybe it's different in Millersville than it is.
Well, you think they're a hop, skip, and a jump from Davidson County. So you can go down the road and they're closer to Davidson County than they are, and Robertson County,
It's on
but
the list.
Davidson's not that far away.
Do we need to look at, there's no capital improvement thing?
She has a little bit over there.
There's nothing for 2026, so we're good.
She's got the computers downstairs, that,
Oh, she does?
uh-huh.
No, that's 2027.
It's under, oh, yeah. No, she's gonna fall into the same thing as
It's,
Westmoreland. It's on the very bottom, operational item.
It's right here.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Again, my apologies.
She's gonna fall into the same.
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about to be done, so thank you so much. Okay, so fiscal year 26, okay. All right.
I didn't know about the air conditioning, can I also put that, because we're just, and the one in the children's department isn't working consistently. Or should I just wait
Yeah.
for it to finish?
So HVAC,
You could wait and add it for next year, and then, because if it breaks, you have the budget.
Gotta fix it.
and everything that's been,
So you're gonna put HVAC on 27, Amy?
yes.
Okay.
HVAC and 20,000 for,
Yeah, we'll just say 20,000 for HVAC for 27.
okay. All right. Okay. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the capital fund as amended, HVAC for 2027, right? 2027?
Mm-hmm.
And, 10,000 for computers for 2027.
Sorry, I left it because I got.
She put 8,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I needed less.
Yeah, she put 8,000.
Okay. All right.
I motion.
Second.
Sorry, Pam was the motion, and who was the second?
Shannon.
Yeah.
Well, Mike beat me, but.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions?
Nope.
Jim wasn't here.
So I guess he has to abstain.
Is he gonna be an abstention because he walked out?
Okay, and then, so the only increase in your budget was the increase in the pay, correct? Okay. I missed that one.
That's something we talked about?
No, I think it was like really 7%,
Okay.
that's what we spent most of the time talking about, since we didn't talk about the payroll.
Yeah.
And then collection was increased too,
Yeah.
right? Around 10%. Yeah, you did that there. Mm-hmm. For collection.
I mean, this is a huge ask from
Yes,
us,
ma'am.
so, and we're already looking for an extra over $100,000 in the budget.
It's 114
Yeah,
is what the increase is, yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty large amount. And where did the funds come in?
We're not blessed to have friends who live in Hendersonville, Gallatin, and, Portland. So our friends help where they can, they help a lot with the summer reading program.
Okay, so you have a friend, correct? Okay. All right.
How many people are in your friends group? Active members?
Yes.
I know one of them, yes, it's like four, that's what they have. Pam, I didn't know, what was the average increase in operations budget with all the others?
There wasn't,
Maybe,
There wasn't, nobody else increased their operations budget?
there was a little bit, no operation increase, it was just payroll.
it was just payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there wasn't an operation.
Yeah, it was pretty much
yeah.
straight line across except for
Um,
COLA and a little bit of
yeah.
pay increase. I think Alicia included what she'd like to see some of her employees get to in her little note, but operations, everything was pretty much the same.
In my opinion, the library book should go back down to 18,000. That's what it was last year, if we're gonna give an increase in salary, because they're only halfway through their money for this year. In my opinion, you should take it back down to 18.2, what it was the year before. Because they also they did get more money from Millersville this year. We'll be an extra 2,500. So that'll shave 6,000 off of the budget. And then next year, look at it that way, because this year we're asking for a lot for pay increase in salaries.
But we passed it already, right?
No, we haven't.
No, we haven't voted on millage, though. We just voted on the changes, the 20,000 HVAC and the computer. Yeah.
Ready to go.
We just have to approve the budget.
5% leading, I am working on it. It's quote based on space, and so we have some free cards for people to take books because we don't have any space to move the leading books from. So once those happen, it's something that hadn't been done prior to my tenure at Millersville. And so, I've got the books, but I just don't have the space or the staffing to get it all done, but that's my goal.
So if you weed at 5%, if we cut your book budget, can you replace the 5%?
I'm going according to her budget for last year, so I just want you to know, there's no cutting. Does that make sense? Like, she's asking for 6,000 more this
I'm
year.
asking her this question because I want to know.
Okay, I'm just,
If you are weeding at 5%, do you replace at 5%?
I try to replace at 7% because when Millersville started, I have a reason. Well, when Millersville started, they started with only donated books. They didn't have empty books when the library started 10 years ago. And so all of those books were books that had already been used in other libraries. And so we really should be getting rid of most of those. Just like I have my collection policy, my collection development, certification and everything, so I go through the stats. And so we really need to do more because we have more people coming in and they want newer books and not older books, and then the price of the book has gone up about what,
Oh, I know. I put all my books on used, so you don't have to tell me about the price of my books. But I just wondered how that works.
and you go for me if you want to.
That's okay. I found that on the bargain bin.
Alright, so that's the only thing that I would say is fine on the salary increases, but, drop the books down to what it was last year, so 18.2. That's my only change.
Okay.
So, I entertain a motion to approve the budget as amended and with the change.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Second.
by Jackie, okay. You
Jackie and
and Shannon are
I
like.
know, I get that.
Okay, well, you're a low talker.
Yeah, that's right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions?
Jim.
All right, and then,
Yeah, Jim.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
okay, do I have a second?
Second.
But Mike, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions?
Okay, now, hit stop capture, right?
Yep.